What is going on, everyone? My name is Eric and you're watching the Get Me Out of Here vlog. Today I'm in Custer State Park in the Black Hills in western South Dakota. This is a beautiful region, one of my favorite places in the United States. So much amazing wilderness, beauty. There is so much to do and see here. In fact, Mount Rushmore is super close to where I'm at right now. But that's not the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here today is to hike to the highest point of the state of South Dakota. I'm on a mission to hike all 50 states. Realistically, I think I can do 45. I know Denali in Alaska and Gannett Peak in Wyoming may be a stretch, but I'm looking forward to doing training when I get to that point. But today, I'll be knocking off my 11th high point. That is the goal. It's called Black Elk Peak. Now, Black Elk Peak used to be called Harney Peak, but the name changed in 2016 to bring more respect to the Lakota Sioux Native American tribe that lived in this region. In fact, Black Elk was a medicine man for the Lakota Sioux, and so they have named the peak Black Elk to honor him and the history here of this region. Now, Black Elk Peak is one of the most unique peaks in the United States, not only because of this beautiful region around me, but because it is the highest peak east of the Rocky Mountains here in the USA, standing at 7,244 feet above sea level. The trail we're doing today is about a 7.1 mile loop, but we're gonna be adding another location, Little Devil's Tower, to this hike, making it probably around, what, 8 miles when it's all said and done?
8.25.
8.25, give or take. And it's about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, 1,500 feet from where we're standing here at Sylvan Lake to the top of Black Elk Peak. So this is a decent hike when it comes to high pointers. Not as extreme as some of the mountains we've done out west, but definitely not a tame one either. It's not one you can just drive up to or take a stroll to get to. So this will be I would say an intermediate hike to the top, but looking forward to doing this. Connor, you said this is one of your favorites. You've done this one before?
Yeah, second favorite.
Second favorite after?
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe was,
tops Guadalupe.
That was awesome. Guadalupe Peak in Texas was a good one. But South Dakota, my brother's been hyping this up. He is my Rocky Mountain Sherpa. He's out of Denver, Colorado. I live in Phoenix, but not high altitude today, not too much. 7,000 feet, that's not too bad compared to 10,000, 11,000, 14,000, which is what we did last month. I finally summited Mount Elbert, the highest peak of the Rocky Mountains. So we're on a goal. This is my 11th high point. Connor, you've done this one before.
Done it twice.
Yeah, you've done it twice.
Just did it a month ago.
Unbelievable. So I'm in good hands for this hike. Looking forward.
I am a Sherpa this time.
You are a Sherpa.
A true Sherpa. I know the trail pretty well.
You do. So he's going to be my guide, taking me to the top of one of the most unique high pointers here in the USA. So without further ado, this is the hike to the top of Black Elk Peak. Let's do this. There's also a trail around Sylvan Lake too. For those that don't want an extreme hike to the top, you can do a tamer hike right here by the lakeshore and take in this pristine environment. Love this quote on the bench: "Life is a journey. Take time to enjoy every step." The Harney Peak Range, now Black Elk, and a little memorial here too. Carl Dubb, William Neiman, 1990 to 2011. So that's good to see. Some inspiration at the start of the trail. And here's the map of the Black Elk Range. A lot of trails. Hiking conditions today are perfect. Not a cloud in the sky, 70 degrees. This is what you want when you're on an outdoor hike. This is just, you couldn't ask for better weather than this. As far as wildlife is concerned, there are, I guess, no black bears here in the Black Hills. I never knew that, but there are mountain lions. So we'll be keeping our eyes open. I've never seen a mountain lion in my life. Don't want to jinx myself right now, but there are mountain lions out here. There are elk, there are bighorn sheep, a lot of really unique wildlife here in this part of the country, in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Little bits of mica, I think.
Oh, so that's mica. That's what's making the trail glisten in the sun.
Yeah, it's that little...
You can see, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but the trail is literally sparkling as we walk due to natural mica here in this region. In fact, the Black Hills were a very vibrant region in the mid to late 1800s, early 20th century. A lot of gold was discovered out here, lead. That also created a lot of boom towns, such as Deadwood, the infamous Wild West town. We stayed there last night at the oldest hotel in the state of South Dakota, the Bullock Hotel. Got another video on that I can link at the end of this one. But a lot of vibrant Wild West frontier history here in the Black Hills.
The Bullock.
The Bullock. Never mind the bullocks. Oh yeah, look at that one. That one's got a lot of Micah. That is cool. Yeah, I can't say I've ever been on a trail that glistens this much. We've got a wanted sign here. The mountain pine beetle is a nuisance for killing trees. And we saw this yesterday hiking Devil's Tower in Wyoming. There were dead pine trees all over the place. We've seen a number of them here in Custer State Park, but they are a nuisance. So I'm glad to see that sign. We hadn't seen that confirmation until just now. So something to keep in mind.
My good word is not enough.
No, I mean, I believe you. But now we know it's official. So there is that is a nuisance here in western South Dakota and eastern Wyoming.
Aspen.
And yeah, they're a problem. I think they're from Asia. But the pine beetles are a huge problem here in the western United States. And yes, they have aspens in South Dakota. Here's a close-up view of the mica. You can see they're just thin sheets that glow and glimmer in the light.
They break off pretty easy.
Yeah, these are really, really fragile.
Yeah.
That's wild. So that's all over the trail. So there are several different trails leading to the top of the peak. Apparently there's a number 2 trail that leads to a lost cabin in the woods. But we're going to be sticking with trail number 9 for the duration of this hike, with a little offshoot to Little Devil's Tower. That's really the only offshoot we're going to be doing today. South Dakota is one of my favorite states in the USA. It is a beautiful state, especially western South Dakota. To be honest, eastern is basically flat, corn, wheat, farmland. But Sioux Falls is a beautiful town in southeastern South Dakota. And I'm a little biased because I grew up in northwestern Iowa, so I grew up going to Sioux Falls a lot. But western South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, tons of national monuments, Jewel Cave, Wind Cave. There's so much to do out here. And as a kid, our family would take vacations and trips out here to the Black Hills. And it's actually been 19 years since I've been out here. I'm aging myself here, but the last time I was here in the Black Hills was the summer after I graduated high school in 2005. So it's been 19 years since I've been out here, long overdue. And it's more beautiful than I imagined. So I definitely want to be getting back out here to this neck of the woods more often going forward. Take a look at this lookout. Oh my gosh. We're about 1 mile into the hike, and already this is what is being revealed. This is unbelievable. Again, these rock formations are so unique. That's awesome. Yeah, there she is. Black Elk Peak. Unbelievable, the majestic views here. I'm breathless. This is already one of my favorite state high points. And it's such a clear day today. Yeah, again, you can see the fire tower, which is kind of the iconic structure there on top of the high point. And then what I didn't realize was just what a valley they have. Look at this, it just extends as far as the eye can see. Which actually kind of makes me, leads me to this. They call this region the Black Hills. Are these hills or are these mountains? What do you think, Connor?
They're mountains, small mountains.
These are mountains?
Oh yeah.
So when does a hill become a mountain? When does a mountain become a hill? I don't know, but these are definitely mountainous. So don't be deceived if you hear the Black Hills. If you hear that and you think, oh, they're just a bunch of hills. I've been to the Rockies. I've been to the Appalachians. I don't need to come out to South Dakota. Think again. These are mountains, and these are truly unique. One of the most beautiful regions of the United States. And also, it's currently Labor Day weekend. Uh-oh. Got some fall foliage making an appearance here, some golden leaves. So fall is right around the corner, which would be the ideal time to come here and see all the colors displayed here along the rock lines and the ridges and the valley. Beautiful, absolutely breathtaking. Yeah, this is awesome. Look how unique this is. Loving these boulders.
Crack one though.
Yeah, this is just amazing. Back in the woods. So the Lakota natives that lived in this region actually coined this whole mountain a sacred place. And a lot of the peaks were named after owls. And you can see the top of this rock looks like an owl's head. You can see the beak, like it's looking out. That's cool. So they considered this a sacred place, and owls, I guess, to the Lakota, symbolized that death was near. It was like oncoming death. Hopefully that doesn't happen to us, but not anytime soon. But yeah, I guess a lot of the rock formations here look like owls' heads. It just dawned on me that there are no bees, like anywhere. There's flowers all around me here along the trail. Not a single bee. I see a monarch butterfly, but I don't see a bee, which is interesting. And growing up, I grew up in the state of Iowa, lived in Chicago for 9 years, and then moved to Phoenix, Arizona 2 years ago. I've noticed that when I was a kid in Iowa back in the 90s, there were lots of bees in Iowa. And over the years, they started to disappear. I haven't seen as many when I go back to visit Iowa. There weren't a whole lot in Illinois, it seemed. But in Arizona, they are everywhere. And my brother lives in Colorado, and he agrees, Colorado too. There are tons of bees in Colorado, Arizona, the American Southwest, but they seem to have disappeared from the central part of the USA, which is very interesting. I don't know what the specific reason would be, or if there is one, but I just noticed there are no bees here at all so far on this hike. I was confused. The sign here says Black Elk Wilderness, Black Hills National Forest. I guess technically we are leaving Custer State Park. So now we are re-entering Black Elk Forest and Black Hills National Forest as well. So kind of weird. It's right on like the border of two parks. Basically, it's kind of the same thing, but I guess we're back in the Black Hills. Just turned around and realized there's a massive hunk of rock looming down on us And this is Little Devil's Tower right here. And I could definitely see the resemblance to the actual Devil's Tower in Wyoming. That is freaking cool. Yeah, that is massive looking from down here. And I think we're actually going to be getting closer to it. We're still on the way to Black Elk Peak, but after we summit, this is an entire loop that goes around back to the lake, and there'll be a small, I think it's like a half-mile offset that will take us closer to Little Devil's Tower. Now, ironically, they call this Little Devil's Tower, but it's actually higher elevation than the real Devil's Tower in Wyoming. But the actual Devil's Tower, I think, has more elevation gain. It's more isolated, so it looks taller. But this is actually higher than the real Devil's Tower, which I find it's funny they call it Little Devil's Tower, when really it's not.
It's a smaller tower, though.
It's a smaller tower, I guess.
So
yeah,
it's higher up.
It's a smaller prominence, but it's a higher elevation here at Little Devil's Tower. Look at the size of this boulder. This massive pine tree that toppled over on top of it. We're also hearing some creaking noises over here, which is kind of freaking me out. So I'm gonna keep walking, but yeah, that is cool looking. Look at this. There's one big chunk of stone. There's water on the trail right now. Not sure when it rained last. Oh yeah, there was like a little stream or a wetland. Huh. Moving on up.
This is kind of the start of the real climb.
Oh, okay. Good to know. You can see a lot of makeshift steps. Overall, the trail, very good condition here. Just got some water on it in this section. But overall, pretty good. Yeah, lots of mosquitoes in that section because whenever there's water, that attracts mosquitoes. So, yeah, this is back into the northern part of the country. Back in mosquito territory.
Wait till you do Eagle Mountain.
It's in Minnesota. Just over 2.5 miles, and the trail is getting rockier. This is what the terrain has turned into. So definitely moving up, but still not terrible. But definitely gaining elevation. As you can see, we're getting some little switchbacks. Trail tends to be winding back and forth a bit. Seeing a lot of fallen trees, and I'm guessing this is due to the pine beetle. Bigfoot, is that what you said? Is it Bigfoot? Bigfoot's in the Black Hills of South Dakota?
More likely pine beetle, but
okay.
You never rule out the possibility.
That's still pretty insane though. Look at all of this damage. Look at that horseback riding here at the high peak of South Dakota. It's the first time I've seen horseback riding at a state high point. I love it. So we came upon a fork in the road at about 3 miles, almost exactly. So the 3 mile marker is where you come across this if you're doing the loop clockwise, which is what we're doing. So we're gonna veer off to head towards the high point, and then after summiting, we'll come back down and attempt to summit Little Devil's Tower, which will take you this way. So we're gonna be heading left, heading further up. Getting a little more bouldery here towards the top. Unfreaking believable. Wow. This is so amazing. And that's a little Devil's Tower right there. Again, the Pinnacle Spires and the majesty of the Black Hills. And if these surreal views weren't enough, right in front of me, that flat rock system right there is the backside of Mount Rushmore. That's right, the presidential heads, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln are just on the other side of that mountain. Unfreaking believable. And also you can see that small phallic-looking rock is known as Little Willie, a tribute to Bill Clinton. If you know, you know. Hey there, Monica.
He is rock hard.
Zooming in to get a closer view of the backside of Mount Rushmore. Right there. That is unbelievable. I've never seen the backside of Mount Rushmore. I've been to Mount Rushmore. It's been almost 20 years. That's going to change on this trip. But seeing it from the back in its natural, pristine look is so awesome. And now the fun begins. The final ascent to the top. This is where it always gets steeper. Well, like every high point that I've climbed, mountain-wise, there's always false peaks. So right here, what we were looking at was a false peak. And my Rocky Mountain Sherpa has alerted me that the real peak is right there. So we still have a little more to go.
It's behind there.
Oh, okay, so that's another false peak. There's always many false peaks. Oh, that's true. So anyway, we're getting close. Still maybe 400 feet?
Oh, no.
Less than that?
Maybe like 100, 150.
Oh, beautiful. So we've got a majority of the elevation behind us. Pretty much 100, 200 feet left to the top. So we're almost there. More breathtaking views of the Black Elk Wilderness.
We're about 100 feet above Little Devil's Tower.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. You're right. So Little Devil's Tower, previously that was the rock that was looming over us. And now we are above it, looking it in the eyes. Yeah, just a little bit further to go. Stock only. So if you got horses, you take it up there. Foot traffic, go this way. The final push to the summit is a stairway to the top. And actually I see rails up there, which is pretty unique. Oh, this is amazing. It's a cave. What the heck? Dude. Look how scenic this is. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm in a movie. There's a freaking cave. Look at this. It's a cave troll.
Gotta pay the toll.
Oh man, I don't have any money. I lost it at the casino last night in Deadwood. Dude, this is unbelievable. Wow. Look at this. Ha!
Reminds me of the Princess Bride Castle.
It does.
On top.
It's like a castle.
Killed my father.
Prepare to die. Look at this. Unbelievable. This is definitely something I've never seen a high point marker before. I wish Colorado had this.
No one's hiking that on a regular basis.
Oh, this is wild. This is just awesome. Oh, and look at that, the fire watchtower. Unbelievable. Wow, look at this. That's so amazing. They've got prayer scarves up here, I believe from the Native Americans, in particular the Lakota Sioux tribe that is native to this region. And this is just something out of a movie. We did it.
You haven't gotten up there yet?
I guess, is this it, or?
Yeah.
Well, this is the natural point.
Oh, it'd be on top of these rocks, I guess.
Is there a seal?
There's a sign up there at the door.
This is by far one of the greatest hikes I have ever done, and could be my favorite high point to date. This is just so epic looking. I almost feel like I'm in the Himalayas. But we're gonna keep going to the top. Right here it says Valentine McGilcuddy. But let's get to the top of the fire tower and make this official. Ahoy up there! This is like a Monty Python moment. I fart in your general direction. Unbelievable. Look at this.
You know, Michigan, Chicago, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and they make this like a.
We did it, man. It's official. Here's the Harney Peak lookout. 7,242 feet above sea level. This is the highest point east of the Rocky Mountains and west of the, I'm going to screw that word up, Pyrenees Mountains, Pyrenees Mountains of Europe. I actually did not realize that this is the highest point west of the Pyrenees in Europe. What the heck? That's amazing. Did it.
Goes
Well, we did it. Good job, Connor.
into
Another high point in the bag. That's what high peak baggers, or high point baggers is what they call themselves. This is my 11th state high point, the state of South Dakota. We did it, Connor. You are my Rocky Mountain Sherpa. You got me to the top. Good job. You did this one 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago, give or take. And I got to say, this is definitely, if not, it's up there. This is probably my favorite one. It's between this or Texas. I agree with you on that.
this one's better.
This one's better, says this guy. So, but this one was just unbelievable. Just the scenery, the geography here is so unique compared to other regions in the United States. But we did it, man. We reached another state high point, conquered South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore State. And that means we have to celebrate now by cracking open a South Dakota beer. That's something we do at all the state high points that we conquer, is we crack open a beer to enjoy at the top that is local to the state that we summit. So we've got a couple beers here from South Dakota. We're gonna take in the scenery, and there's some very unique history and structures I can see behind me here on the summit as well. So I wanna dive a little bit more into the history of this summit, Black Elk Peak. And it looks like, which I didn't know, is this winds all the way out. There's people hanging out here. There's like a little pond down below, and you can see some more prayer scarves on trees and a little trail that goes all the way out to the end. So we're gonna make it to the end there And maybe that's a good point to enjoy the beers.
Super. Like,
But anyway,
you guys will be like,
got the fire tower behind me, another high point, Concord, South Dakota, one of my all-time favorite states. So glad to finally do this. And yeah, we made it. Good job, Connor.
Yeah, nice work.
all the front range cities. Half hour from Denver,
So this fire tower has been here since 1938. It was built during the Great Depression. There was a lot of projects throughout the United States during the Great Depression that the federal government funded in order to keep people busy, and they built a lot of structures throughout state and federal parks. But we're going to go up above. I guess you can go higher. So let's do this to the top of the lookout tower and make this even more official. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Cool. Can you imagine being stationed up here?
Be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be very isolated.
Be the king of the world.
So there were people at this fire post between the years of 1938 and 1967, which is insane to me to think that they must have had to hike to the top of this almost every day. I don't know, or maybe they camped out up here for weeks at a time. Hard to say, but just very surreal. It's cool that they still have this structure at the high point and that you can still go up inside it. Only you can prevent forest fires. Smokey Bear. Looking down below here in the tower. And again, just the views of the surrounding area. It's just majestic. This is probably the most terrifying part of this hike, actually, is going I should probably turn around. It would suck to fall down these stairs. Make you to the top and then you fall and break your legs on the fire tower stairs. So my brother's showing me this secret passageway that goes below the fire tower. You used to sleep down here? This is wild. This is kind of creepy, man. It's like a dungeon down here.
This is like the old living area.
Oh, wow. I feel like I'm suddenly in a Saw movie. There's like a bunch of broken eggshells over here in the corner. So interesting. This is the living quarters for the whoever was stationed at the fire tower. So yeah, they must have lived here for quite some time. I don't know if it was weeks on end. I'm guessing probably weeks, and then they changed shifts. But so they didn't have to hike up and down every day, because it'd be very tiring, and they'd probably be in amazing shape if they did that. Interesting. So I wonder if this was like a pantry area.
I don't know.
Hard to say. I'm just glad there's no wasp nests or anything like that out
This
here.
is the walkway down to that little dam.
Oh, cool.
Little pond they built.
Okay, so there's like an entire walkway that goes out to the edge of that rock. So we're gonna do that to get away from that screaming child and enjoy the beers with some beautiful views and a little more solace. Look at this. So again, the fire tower is right here. And it's like a little secret passageway with more prayer scarves, which is so cool. I mean, this makes me think like I'm in the Himalayas, but I'm really in South Dakota.
20,000.
in 20,000 feet short of the Himalayan mountains. This is awesome. Look at that. Interesting, so that tree fell. Oh, wow. Oh, this is that the dam and the power station.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Not much in there. It's just empty.
I kind of feel like I'm in a Resident Evil movie. Or a game. The movies suck. The games are awesome. Yeah. I'm trying to like make sure these steps are really, really short. I don't want to like fall down these stairs.
The interesting steps.
Interesting. This is so wild. Oh, it's just like a utility shed. And I got a window here. And there's like a little beach on top of the high point. You could bring your swimsuit if you wanted to. That is amazing. Huh. Well, now we gotta go back up the stairs. It's kind of a dead end, huh?
Yeah, there's nothing in there.
Here, I'll jump up.
There you go down. I was seeing once. You're already up here.
Yeah.
Already
might
here.
as well.
Yeah.
Might as well check it out, right?
Right.
Here, I'll go up this way. Do a little rock scrambling here at the high point. Now this is seriously freaking cool. So again, here is the Harney Fire Tower. And look at this. You can just follow this all the way to the end. This is awesome. Definitely, if you were missing some of that off-trail action, you get it here at the top. Just keep going out to the far end, and there's plenty of bouldering and things you can do. This is so cool. I love this. It's like the cherry on top of the high point. Oh, somebody wrote their name in the concrete.
It's air core.
Oh, wow. Is it like some kind of, what do you call it? Like a time capsule? Maybe they opened it up
Eugene and David.
in 100 years? I don't know, no say. Still got a little ways to go to get to the end. Oh, yeah, look at that. That looked epic. Very stoic shot right there, Cotter. All right, well, we are almost at the end of this rock formation. Again, high point way back there. But we figured, let's go all the way out and enjoy these beers, these South Dakota beers. Is there a good place to sit?
Yeah. Anywhere. Over there would be good, maybe.
Oh, wow. This is the end of that rock. Oh, it keeps going. I guess it does keep going, but this is the end that I wanted to get to. I was hoping there was like maybe a cool overhang that we could like sit at with our feet dangling. It doesn't look like it. All right, so the beer for South Dakota that we have chosen, which was one of the few that we could find in Deadwood.
It's the only one.
The only one we could find in Deadwood. Well, no, there was a Sturgis Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
But this is called Crow Peak Brewing Company. It's brewed, where's this brewed at? Spearfish, South Dakota. So this is brewed in the Black Hills, which is fitting.
And with local honey.
And with local honey. This is a Canyon Cream Ale that we're going to be enjoying. What do you think, Connor?
Actually pretty good.
Is it good?
Better than I expected.
These things
I'm
always,
not a big cream ale person.
these things always blow on me. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Not the worst explosion. I'm headed at a high point. That's what she said. Oh crap! I spilled. Okay, I've christened the mountain. Christened. I've christened. I've christened the mountain. Well, it is a sacred mountain, so I mean you could Christian it. Anyway, we've christened the mountain with our Spearfish beer, our South Dakota beer. So cheers, Connor.
Cheers.
The best beers are mountain beers.
Welcome to Black Elk.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very good. It's a little warm. I forgot to bring my can cooler on this trip, but that's okay. The best beers are still mountain beers because they're well earned, and you've got breathtaking views to take in while you're enjoying it. Again, one of my all-time favorite high points. This is unbelievable being up here, seeing the historic Fire Watch Tower over there and making it out to the end. And actually we found this. I thought this was the actual official seal that marked the high point, but instead it says it's a camera point. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service. There's so much mica up here as well. You can see it glistening in the sun. And also there's quartz. Check this out, right at our feet. There's some quartz right there, some right there. So a lot of awesome looking rocks here at the summit. But we have enjoyed our beers and we're gonna make our way down, and we still have a lot of hiking to do. We have to finish the loop, and we're also planning to summit Little Devil's Tower. So there's still a lot more on the way. We're gonna try to make it back, hopefully by sunset, but we'll see. But anyway, we're turning back towards the fire tower and gonna start making our way down the high point of South Dakota. Leaving the fire tower. So long, fire tower. No fires today. Cool too. Look at this old buckle that they have right there. It looks almost like maybe an American flag or some kind of flag hung there at some point. Who knows? But heading back down. Love this right here. This is so epic. Just seeing the prayer scarves. People have left hats. Again, this was a very spiritual place for the Lakota tribe. And one thing I wanted to note too, I saw this going up and dove a little more into the history. There is a grave here. This is for Valentine McGillicuddy. And it says here, Wasiku Wakam, which stands for Holy White Man. So Valentine, if I'm pronouncing that right, lived from, as you can see there, 1849 to 1939. He died of natural causes at 90 years old in California. But he played a huge part in American history around here. He was friends with the Lakota tribe. In fact, he was friends with Crazy Horse, a warrior that they've got a monument for here in the Black Hills. And Valentine was a surgeon. So he actually was a surgeon here on the in the Indian Wars on the frontier. He helped both Native Americans and soldiers as well for the United States. In fact, when Crazy Horse was mortally wounded by being stabbed, Valentine was there and attempted to save his life. And so he was friends with the Lakota tribe, and after he passed away, they brought his ashes here and entombed him right here at the highest point here at the summit, at the base of the fire tower. So a very fascinating individual. I knew nothing about him until researching this hike. Also wanted to say he was a man of service. Actually, in 1919, when he was 70 years old, Valentine enlisted into World War I and actually was based in Alaska, where he was helping as a doctor for patients with influenza during the influenza outbreak in 1919. So he gave his service in the medical field to soldiers, both Native Americans and Americans on the front lines here in the frontier. And he did it later during World War I in the influenza pandemic. So what an amazing guy. And here he is entombed at the highest point of South Dakota. So fascinating history here. There was also a post office stationed here from 1936 to 1942 that at the time was coined the highest post office in the United States. I can't imagine what that postmaster would have done. Maybe he had carrier pigeons. I don't know. But yeah, there was a post office up here, way up here. For what reason, I have no idea. We're heading down the steps here from the castle.
Yep.
So it just dawned on me that there was no register on top of the high point here in South Dakota. We didn't have a notebook. There was no notebook. There was no canister, no nothing to sign your name. And we couldn't find an official seal either for the high point. So a couple things missing from this one that would be nice. If anybody watching this that is taking care of the park or the high point, add a canister up there for a notebook or a register. It's always a highlight for me when I reach a high point, just to have something to put your name on to show that you've made it to the high point. So we made it back to that fork and are on the new trail to complete the loop back to the car. And along this way, we're going to do a quick offshoot to the top of Little Devil's Tower. We're going to summit that as well today. And we also have our own beer for that too, which I'll show you at the top. But so this is all new territory right now. A lot more green, definitely in the woods. Excellent views of the Cathedral Spires, or the Needles.
Needles Highway. When you ask, it just popped up.
It just
I don't
pops
know.
up.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Well, wait, Needles Highway, that's
Cathedral
the same thing.
Spires, but it's the Needles Highway. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same thing.
Okay, so we're leaving Black Elk Wilderness in the Black Hills National Forest. Well, I think we're still in the Black Hills
Yeah, we're still.
National Forest, but we're back in Custer State Park. Unbelievable. I've never been this close to the Cathedral Spires before. I think you can touch that one. That is insane. It's so alien looking. This is so awesome. I've never been up close to the Cathedral Spires. And all the visits in my youth to the Black Hills, actually touching the spires. That is awesome. This would be great for rock climbing and learning how to rock climb. You could tell they probably do lessons here. There's like some stumps, probably for teaching and training. I just realized I had my camera on like rapid speed. So when I play it, I have you like flying up this thing. Way to show off those Rocky Mountain Sherpa skills. There's a lot of ups and downs here on this trail. So don't expect to be going uphill toward the peak and just downhill on the way back to the lake. So we just reached another fork in the trail at about 6.2 miles is what you got? Roughly around the loop, and we're gonna veer off, and this is the offset that goes to the summit of Little Devil's Tower. So we're gonna do this. It's about, what, it adds 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah, maybe. Might
Okay.
be a half mile.
Maybe just a half mile there, half mile back.
No, not that much.
Oh, not even that much. Okay. So we're gonna nail another summit today. Little Devil's Tower, which is, what is the top of that one, Carter? 6,000?
6,990.
Oh, wow.
Just under 7,000.
So just under 7,000 feet. So close to the same elevation as Black Elk Peak. In fact, my brother just informed me that there's a thing here in the Black Hills of South Dakota called like the 7,000 Club or something. So they've got how many peaks? Like 7 peaks? 8 peaks that are 7,000 feet elevation or higher. And so people try to conquer them all here in the Black Hills. So we've knocked out the highest one. Forever back in this region, maybe we'll knock out a few more. But it's kind of like how in Colorado people call them 14ers Club, mountains that are higher than 14,000 feet. Well, here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, there's 7,000 feet that they try to knock out. So kind of cool. This is where it starts to get a little more rocky. You got some markers here in blue pointing the way. Getting towards the top, Connor says there's a rock scramble starting here. So here we go to the top of Little Devil's Tower.
Not much of one. It's a little one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Nice.
It's no four peaks, but it's there. I don't recommend those watching this to film and scramble at the same time, but this one's not too bad. I've done worse.
There's some like really pink quartz or something.
Oh yeah, look at
That rock
that.
is
It's like
kinda
rose
cool. Yeah,
colored pink.
rose quartz.
That's super cool. Just amazing rock formation here. Getting to the top of Little Devil's Tower. Again, the blue diamonds mark the way. And this is definitely more thrilling, I would say, than Black Elk Peak, because it's a lot more rock scramble, like you can see. This actually reminds me more like an Arizona hike. So we're going to continue to follow the diamonds to the top. Whew. So made it to the top of this one portion, and then there's a bit of a chute right here that'll, I think, take me to the summit. So yeah, very reminiscent of some of the hikes I've done in Arizona, like Camelback, Four Peaks, even Superstition. We did it! It's official! Made it to the top of Little Devil's Tower. This is awesome. You got the needles here to my left, or what is it? The Cathedral Spires, I think is the appropriate term. So the spires right here. And then straight across is where we just were. That is Black Elk Peak, and that right at the top is the Firewatch Tower. So we literally just traversed the entire loop and made it up here to the other high point. Check this out. And by high point, I mean the high point of this trail loop. Actually, it might be the second highest point of Custer State Park. Possibly.
It might be, yes.
Have to research that. But anyway, summited the high point and now at Little Devil's Tower. So a goal of my brother and I's is actually to rope climb the actual Devil's Tower in Wyoming. We just visited that yesterday. And well, at least we made it to Little Devil's Tower. So at least we made some of that goal happen. But anyway, we've got a surprise. Connor, you got some beers?
Yes, I do.
New beers that are probably even warmer now, but that's okay.
I kept them very warm.
So
Yes.
check this out. We got these in Wyoming yesterday at Devil's Tower, the OG Devil's Tower. This is Devil's Tower Lager. It's a Wyoming beer. And we thought, you know what?
We can have a little longer.
We can enjoy this at the top of Little Devil's Tower. Just, you know, it's appropriate, I think. So 2 beers on this hike. Something we haven't done. Hopefully we don't get too drunk. It's 7,000 feet. It's
Yeah,
not
we're good.
it's not 10,000 feet plus, so the altitude won't affect us too much. Anyway, cheers everyone. Let me turn this around. Told you I wouldn't drop it. Ha 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 ha. All right, man. I feel taller than you now. I love this. Cheers!
Cheers
2 summits in one day.
to the Little Devil Tower.
To Little Devil Tower. Oh, that's good.
Still good, yeah.
That's still really good. It's gotten very gusty right now too. Turn the camera this way and get a view of the high point.
And back of Mount Rushmore.
And the back of Mount Rushmore. So a toast to the Black Hills. One of my favorite places in the USA.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye. That is good. Devil's Tower. Check it out. It's the Harney Wizard. The old man of the mountain. It seriously looks like an old man. So here at the summit of Little Devil's Tower, there's a marker that says the Custer State Park Trail Challenge. Near this sign is one of the medallions for the SCP Trail Challenge. It runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day and features a different series of trail each year. So you have to bring some paper with you and make a rubbing of the medallion. This one is the Devil's Tower Trail with some mountain goats on there. But I guess you complete the challenges, you make the rubbings on the papers, and then you turn them in at the visitor center for an official hiking pin. That seems like a lot of work for a hiking pin. We're noticing all of this quartz rock here at the top of the peak. Look at that. And it's, yeah, you're right, it's all this rose-colored quartz. That is beautiful looking. Huh. So long, Little Devil's Tower. We're gonna scramble back down, and we have about 2 miles left to complete the loop and get back to the lake in our car. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Here's the parking lot, the Black Elk Range Trails. This is the trailhead. If you're doing the loop, this is the finish line. We did it. Completed the high point of South Dakota, and also did Little Devil's Tower as well. And Connor, what was the final stats here? What did you get? Because my Strava turned off on me about halfway through.
13.8 kilometers.
13.8 kilometers, what is that?
About 8.25 miles.
8.25 miles. So give or take about 8.25 to 8.5 miles to complete this today. Now keep in mind, we did the offshoot to the summit of Little Devil's Tower, and we also went all the way to the end of that cliff at the high peak itself, Black Elk Peak. So we did a little more, but yeah, about 8.25 to 8.5 miles to complete this. A successful hike. Good job, Cotter.
Yeah, good work.
Yes, success for my Rocky Mountain Sherpa. Another high point completed. This was a new one for me. So that makes 11 state high points completed. Now, what will my next one be? I really don't know at this point. I'm thinking realistically, it may be Nevada.
Alabama.
Alabama. If I had a reason to go to Alabama in the near future, I would and knock it out, but I don't. So I live in Phoenix, Arizona. The nearest state high point to me that I haven't done yet, or at least the two closest, are Boundary Peak, which is the high point of Nevada, which is totally doable. I just need to figure out when to do it. And then Mount Whitney, the highest peak of California and also the highest peak of the lower 48 states. That one you have to enter a lottery for. And so that lottery doesn't, I don't think that opens up for 2025 until February, about 5 months from now. So that one, I'll keep my fingers crossed. That's actually the one that I want to do the most, is Mount Whitney, and knock that out. Summit the high point of the lower 48. But if there's other ones that come up, I'm totally open to them. Ideally, I would love to do a trip and do Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota and knock all three of those out. So a lot of ideas here, but today focused on the Mount Rushmore State, South Dakota, one of my favorite states in the USA. And this is definitely up there. I would say this is my second favorite high point. I still think Texas is my number one. I still think Texas is number one. And that's just because it was a little more challenging. And the views at the top of Guadalupe Peak are unbelievable, with the desert views all around. That is one of my favorite. But this one I think is number two. So Guadalupe Peak, Texas high point, number one. Black Elk Peak, South Dakota, number two. Number three is kind of a toss-up for me. I guess Mount Elbert in Colorado would be my third favorite so far. But yes, an amazing day. We did it. We're excited. We're tired. We've got some more filming we're doing this evening here in the Black Hills region, and we'll be here at least for another day before heading east towards Iowa. And I have another filming venture into Nebraska too this week. So a lot going on, a lot on the way with this channel. So appreciate everybody watching this. Please leave comments below if you have any questions, want advice, want tips on some of these high point hikes. Let me know. More than happy to share. My name's Eric. This is the Get Me Out of Here vlog, and it's time for me to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Hey, you didn't shave your chest like the state of South Dakota, like you did in Texas.
Nope.
What the heck,
Guess
man?
not.
What the heck?
I didn't think about it.
So we're here at the Steel Wheel Trading Post, and take a look at this. They have a taxidermied elephant head on display. That is insane. I've never seen a fully grown taxidermied elephant on display like this. And they also have a bear wearing a sombrero.